When I came to Nigeria and I got engaged, we were attending a group, a Christian group, praying together, reading the Bible together, studying. So we are roughly the same age group. And before we wedded, another couple wedded. And we kept in touch. We were all on campus. This group continued growing and maturing. And as for us, we were both together. We grew all that together. And I stubbornly refused to go on sabbatical or on study leave. Many of my colleagues were doing it. And I told them I can't. I'm raising children. I want to be at home. We want to be together. And Nigeria being the sweet place it was, and probably still is, the leadership of the department agreed. So we married in 74, and the first time I went on sabbatical leave was 93. And when I went with the whole of my family, 4 children and my husband, for a year. One of my colleagues that just married the same year, not in the same department, decided to push studies. I forgot actually at the moment now whether it was him or his wife that first left on study leave. One of the two left. The person went to the UK, studied for some few years, came back. As soon as that person came back, the spouse left for study leave, stayed there for some years, came back. And I remember that brother telling me in his office one day, now we will have to learn how to live together, because we never, since we got married. And from what I gather from the outside is that it was pretty hard. It was difficult. One of the reasons being that they were not used to live together. They were not used to sharing opinions. They were used to spend, buy, decide just on their own without consulting the other one. And they were with 2 children that had only got one person at a time as parent. Once it was the father, then once it was the mother, and now they were 2. And I'm sure that the children do what all children try, to push them one against the other. And in the end, they separated. And it had a big effect on me because I was quite close to the husband. I always looked at him as my brother, because all my brothers were away, millions of kilometers away in France. And that one was one of those, maybe 2, 3, 4, that I could see as my brothers, sharing stuff and discussing freely. And I thought it was sad. I want to encourage you. I know in Nigeria is sometimes you don't have a choice. Yeah? People want to better their life. They want to improve their studies, but think of it. You don't need to go to the other side of the world to get a PhD. There are enough universities in Nigeria that offer that. You don't need to go very far to start producing and publishing. I was in Nigeria for 25 years, and I only traveled for sabbatical once. And when I did, I carried the whole of my family together. And it was a wonderful but very hard experience anyway. But that didn't decide the success of my career. I continued publishing with all the difficulties attached to that in Nigeria, especially in a rural place like Nsukka, where you often study deep at night when the children are asleep with a kerosene lamp because there is no light. And in the daytime, you walk on foot to your office because there's no petrol in your car. And you have to manage a big household because we were foster parents to many. So our household was oscillating between 10 and 18 with all the noise and the other duties, like in September covering all the books and exercise books of everyone, writing their names on it and so on. But I'd never regret. Don't leave your household and study on your own. Don't. If you travel with your spouse and you have no children, all right. But if you have a spouse and children, don't leave them behind. It's a recipe for disaster. And if you need to travel for shorter periods, we have all done that. But it has always to be with the agreement of the other one, so that the other one will support you, will cover for you, will make sure that the children understand why the father or the mother is away, maybe for 1 week or 3 days or a fortnight. But don't push it. Make sure that you continue together. We are all human beings, frail and weak. And it's not good to precipitate the other one into a lot of temptations and difficulties, because managing a household alone is not easy. Not easy at all. Once in our lives, we had to be separated for a year, and God engineered it. He told me in advance, and in fact I thought it was the devil because it was so much against my will. But when it happened, I had to manage the children in a foreign land for a year and fight for my husband to join us after his home duty was over. I never cried so much in my life. And the children were completely petrified at the end of it when the father came back, saying, how will he understand us? We've changed so much. And that was combining migration and separation. It did happen to us. We didn't choose it, and we fought it, and we made sure that we kept in touch, no matter the difficulties, at a time where there was no telephone that was working, not talking of letters. So, don't try. Make sure that you work to your marriage. You work on holding the marriage together, loving ourselves, caring for ourselves, living and growing in experience together. And God bless you as you do.